What's going on, speculators? Let's fire up the Futures Fanatic stream for a special Sunday edition emergency. Markets crashing. Well, they're not crashing anymore. Special edition of the Futures Fanatic live stream here. It is Sunday evening. It's the first day of February 1st, 2026. Hope you all had a good weekend. I imagine that the audience here at this time, since it's kind of the middle of the night in Europe, will not be that great. But if you do come in here and you're joining me, give me one for picture and sound for anyone who's joining. I'd really appreciate it. Before we get started, I always like to start with the risk disclosure and disclaimer that's up there to remind everybody these presentations are for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are going to be mine. I'm wrong all the time. If you knew there's some difference between good advice and bad advice, you probably wouldn't need any. None of this is advice or a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Thank you, Get a Grump and Razzie. So all trades presented should be considered hypothetical and should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. Okay, starting off with my KRPOS today, which stands for current positions. I went in with a very small position in MGC to start. Took this account, I don't know if you can see it on the screen there, but up about $2,000 on this. I took it back down to 30 to start the month on Friday, and then I did have about a, I don't know, whatever, $19,000 or $2,000 drawdown, and then fortunately I'm right back up to above the starting balance. And the only positions I have on now, I decided to buy 25 shares of Lulu in this account. Someone made a compelling reason for buying Lulu, so I'm going to have this in here. I don't know what I'm going to make with 25 shares of Lulu. I'm probably going to close this. But anyway, I'm long Bitcoin. Took advantage of a little bit of Bitcoin. We can look at that here. And the Bitcoin contract. I don't really have any sell targets here. Let's see if we can fill in this whole gap. They went after Bitcoin, of course, over the weekend, I think, because of some uncertainty about how this metals thing was all going to shake out. I did drop I dropped a video on my YouTube channel that you can check out at another time. I sent an email out to members of my group. I'll go through a little bit of this today because I tended to, as I often do, ramble a little bit, as I can do in here as well. But this is over here. You can check this out. It's the Metals Meltdown videos right here, I guess, right there. So this one right here, I'll leave a link to it in a little bit. If you haven't yet checked it out, you might want to check it out. I go into more details about what happened, but let me give you a little bit of a summary. For those that are in my trade community, you'll know I probably could have done a better job of calling out exactly what I was doing, but I have been talking about looking to build some short positions, specifically in silver, for a few weeks. Picking tops is very difficult, but a couple tells. One, I've seen charts like that. You're going to see charts like that. If you trade long enough, as long as I have, the parabolic charts all look the same. They start to look like pot stocks or whatever else. We've seen it all, the rise and fall, the craziness, GameStop, whatever. But the market dynamics of what was going on in silver were a little bit different, and there's a tell. So here's what I went through in the video, and I can just go through very quickly here on the live stream. The first is, when the CME starts to change margins quickly and in succession, which just started happening back in November or December, okay? And this was even before silver went pretty parabolic to start the year in 2026, okay? So that's your first tell. You guys know what margins are, most of my audience. They're essentially the collateral required to hold a position. So they raised those 4 frickin' times in about a month. That's your first tell. If you have live accounts, you'll be notified when margin changes happen to any security, whether you own it or not. It'll say, hey, we're raising our margins overnight or permanently for nat gas due to market volatility, or for for everything because there's a big FOMC announcement or whatever. So that was the first tell. The second was there were some market dynamics that were going on where you can kind of look at what's happening with certain positions and where people are off sides. That's usually an after the fact thing. I talk about that in the video, and probably I should have cut all that out because it's not really useful. But basically, some group of shorts were liquidated around 119 in silver. And as you guys know, when it was like $3.9 billion worth of contracts. So they fry people all, that's not little guys like you and me. That's dumbass hedge funds that get over their skis in certain positions and think they can hold into positions, and the market just squeezes them to death. So at 119, then you can see that extra $2 up to 121, which basically, when someone gets shorted out, short covering creates buy orders. The buy orders then drove us up to 121, and that was really the top. The narrative the market wants to tell you is because of the Kevin Warsh nomination. Probably that might have been a catalyst, but I think it was also a little bit of just bad luck that essentially, I think if I heard correctly from my sources in Chicago, the liquidations were a lot of JP Morgan positions, not themselves, but maybe clients of JP Morgan. And those people were all taken out for huge, massive losses. And then it just turned out that on that Friday, once that happens, then once the shorts are out, then it's all bets off, and then the market just comes down. So then the other thing I talk about in the video is one way to best get not wrecked, of course, is be very careful selling calls or selling puts in highly volatile things. If you're going to express positions, just buy puts. It's the simplest way to do it. I did it in silver futures options. I did it in, by the way, Bitcoin now getting some back above 78,420. I did it in SLV. I did a little bit in gold, just using GLD. And I sold a little bit of the 4,700 MGC puts for next week, but that's after the fall, after the fact. Okay, so the final thing is that you don't have to, as I mentioned in the video, you don't have to always think, well, how can I time the short entry of things like this? You can just know that we might be close to some sort of top or event like this. I don't think anyone could predict sort of Six Sigma kind of moves, but if you're looking to get long, you want to pick up the pieces after these catastrophic events. I don't really have a strong call on silver as a better feel that I have for gold, but I just showed this in my video. Look at this, okay? This is the floor, likely. The volume profile is telling you. So T-line on a 4-hour, came in right at 46.45. You still have a heck of a lot of people that are in profit even after this fall. Notice that we still do have the extreme turn buy condition on. So it'd be a little aggressive on a 4-hour. If you wanted to go for it right now, you generally want to wait till the next 4-hour candle opens up, and if the condition is off, then you get long. But if you have the risk budget or the ability, not a bad spot to buy some calls. Not a bad spot to be resting orders down here around 4,600 in the futures markets. Those that know my teaching and stuff, this is very simple. This is a visible range profile. You can get the visible range profile by going to indicators, technicals, profiles, and then visible range profile. That simply means that it crafts the volume profile based on the amount of data that you're bringing back. If you tighten or widen this profile might change a little bit, but there ain't going to be much that's going to move it around from 4,600, okay? Now, another quick lesson that I gave in the video that I want to spend more time on the stream here, because a number of you might be in my community. If you're not yet part of my community, I used to sell this indicator alone for $1,000, and I had a lot of people buy it because it's so valuable. You get this for a limited time if you join just for 90 days. There's a link down below, $249. It's yours to keep. I'm going to start hinting this because at the end of February, we're going to do this one more month. At the end of February, the bonuses with the 3-month membership are going away, and we're only going to offer an indicator that's this powerful. We're only going to offer it to our lifetime members. So we're going to provide that just to lifetime members. But now you could say, well, this one sucked. It didn't work. Here's what we do. You can visually look at the difference between the T-line or the 55 and not take short positions that come off with this indicator until such time as you get a whole bunch of distance. There's a lot of training on what that distance should be. I kind of eyeball it, but this is, so in addition to margin increases, okay? Margin increases, 4 different margin increases. Number 2, a huge liquidation event. You couldn't know about that necessarily. But this, you could absolutely know that when this signal comes off, this condition comes off right here, this is a short or a time in which you express or buy puts or give yourself some sort of downside exposure, okay? Now, where do you target? You target right here, 5,064. Again, this type of move is crazy. It's not going to happen very often, but this type of move, $300, we've seen $300 moves frequently. Saw it from $4,400 down to $3,900. That was about a $500 move in about 36 hours. And then here we got a $700 move. But we wouldn't know that. We would be targeting this right here, this high volume node. Can I get a 1 in the chat if this all makes sense? This is laid out in front of you. This is not hindsight. There's nothing hindsight about this. Here is your sell signal, okay? I had told my group I was in 80 and 100 silver puts. Everybody in my group heard me say that, okay? I'm very cautious about telling you the exact strike all the time and the position and all these things, because I don't want people tailing me in. I want everyone to think individually, think for themselves, begin to develop situational fluency so they can see when these things are potentially looking to happen, okay? But this is all laid out for us. It's all laid out for us. So here's the, let me make this a little shorter. Here's the signal, okay? Express the trade. Take it off right there. If you end up having more and you get lucky all the way down to here, here's where you reverse and potentially get long, okay? As it looks like maybe tonight we're going to hold symmetrical double bottoms around 4,700. That's fantastic, you know? So that stuff is great. All right? Now, if you are not able to join my community or eventually get your way to this indicator, I can tell you the basic logic is it's using RSI, way overbought, okay, higher than 85 on the upside. And it's using an ADX indicator, which just measures momentum, okay? And so we're looking for momentum to wane when an overbought condition is present, and then we get these particular signals here. And again, plenty of training on how to utilize these. But the nice thing about the extreme turn is you don't have to be perfect, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. If it just gets you in the area, then you're fine. All right? So that's what I went through on that video. If you can go over and watch that video, it's a little long and I haven't posted in a while. It would, yada yada. It would really help me if you like it and share it and all that good stuff, so we get some views for my longer form content, because I just dread making it. I don't know why. I just rather get on and ramble here and not have to edit anything or give it to an editor or anything like that. But YouTube does not reward that kind of stuff, so I have to continue to post it in order for people to find me. So anyhow, there you go. And if we want to look at silver, if you're interested on the silver chart, again, these are the continuous contracts. Silver went right down to T-line. Okay, now it flushed a bunch of people out here, but silver is a buy here. Look both ways before crossing the street. This is not financial advice or a solicitation to buy or sell any security. If you knew the difference between good advice and bad advice, you wouldn't need any. The chart is telling you, okay? The thing that screwed people up on this is that it blew right through this high volume node, right through this whole area here, did not hold it because there was a major, major, major liquidation event. But 99.9% of the time, okay, this would hold on even a big drop, but it just didn't in this case. But where did we wick out and start to come back up to? Right to our T-line. It's almost like it's effing magic. 233 EMA on a 4-hour. 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. We use it, of course, on the 30-minute for the trading time frame. Now you have a 4-hour, somewhat bullish-looking candle. You made a higher low. If I were to express, and I'm out and I'm done with silver for a little while, but if I were to express anything, I would let this settle out for a little bit, let vol come in, and then I would buy calls. And I would target 94s. So I would target, and these are I don't know the exact level for SLVs. We're looking at the silver market right now, the SI markets. Okay. So there you go. If there's any questions about any of that, let me know. But it should be relatively straightforward. Getting back over to this right here. Had a pretty good night trading. Just right off the open. I'll get in here and mix it up a little bit. Now let's see if we hold VWAP. These are in accounts from a firm called Blue Sky. And then what else do I want to trade? I'll trade this account right here. Same thing. Look at it for it right there. And then let me move this so that I have it positioned correctly. Need to move this down so I can see it. There we go. And then we go here and back to here. Okay. So there's Bitcoin. Let's go back to gold, and you can see the orders I'm resting in gold. Pretty simple. I'll do the same thing and buy it live here on a pullback to VWAP. And we'll see if we get a fill. Other than that, I think I'm only going to stream for a short period of time. I just wanted to go over the same stuff that I rattled on. There we go, long at 80, 40, 48, 10s-ish in there. I rattle on about the stuff. But again, the takeaways, make sure that you are aware of what's happening with margins. If you only live in the prop world, you're not going to learn what's really going on, because prop programs, Apex is not going to send you an email when they change margins, because they don't change any margins, right? So because it's not real trading. Now, I saw that Take Profit did send out an email about their Pro Plus accounts, of which I have some as well, and those are in live real markets. So in live real markets, they will tell you when they have to make certain changes to what is going on. All right. So by the way, there's a do we scalp it, or do we come up to here? Let's just trade it right up to there. We'll see. Quick 121. Order prices outside price limits. How is it outside price limits? What does that mean? Let me just go put it up here. All right. So let's see if we can just scalp it up to here. And again, we're long over here. I'm just going to preserve the
order submitted.
Preserve the profit and run up the buy stop, sell stop. Yeah, I'm going to get stopped out here. It's moving all over the place. All right, did I miss any questions? No, Ninja doesn't, to my knowledge. I don't know if there's a question about a visible range profile over on Ninja. I bet you someone's built one. It's not part of the order flow suite. It might be an interesting thing for someone to build. I love it because what it's doing is it's just pulling back and giving you a profile based on the amount of data or the time frame that you're looking at. Go. Let's just scalp that for when else can you make $130 that quick, right? We'll just do it. So now up to $2,370 in profit tonight, which is pretty nice. Again, this is real money. These are micros. I don't have any minis on. I don't even have more than one micro on at a time. Okay? So the reason I have these tracking accounts, and I call them tracking accounts, they're real live accounts, is because this over here is a PA. This PA balance is now $161,000. Sorry, no, $159,970. So there's a $10,000 balance in it. But it's funny money, right? I mean, it's real. I can get paid out on it, but I want to show what happens in the real world with real margins, even though essentially we're doing the exact same thing. Bitcoin coming in a little bit. I'm going to reload Bitcoin here at 77,200. Yes, the visible range is just TradingView. On TradingView, I am trading, when you say what accounts, I'm trading an interactive brokers account. You can't see that because my head's in the way, but let me move my head out of the way for just a moment. And it's not allowing me to. I don't know why. It's interactive brokers. So I think I can move this over here.
Order filled.
See that? Interactive brokers. That's what it is. I also have connected a Tasty Trade account. So this is Tasty Trade, as you can see right there. And this has a balance of 7,237, of which they did not process my withdrawal. I made a withdrawal of $2,000. So it should have brought it down to around 7,000. They didn't process it yet. The balance should be reflected tomorrow. What did I buy? What did I buy there? Oh, nothing yet. There was just a delayed sound effect from the last sell. All right, I'm just going to scalp this over here.
Order filled.
Rebuy it down here.
Order
just
submitted.
play these ranges. This is really a crapshoot from these levels here.
Order filled.
But
Order submitted.
let's just play the chop. We'll play the chop.
Order filled.
All right, out again.
Order submitted.
Riley, I love it. Dude, that is amazing. Have you done a Trader Talk Tuesday? I know you probably hear this, and I don't know how to sound any different than, I don't know, other places you might hear it, but it really is the reason I'm doing this. This is the reason I'm doing this, because we have prop programs, we have micros. I have a lot of experience. I've been a very fortunate guy. I've done very well with markets, and it's time to quote unquote give back. And anyone who's listening to my stuff, and if you're making money, however you can give back. You don't have to give back with your education. You know, I'm a huge fan of Kiva. I made a pledge to give away 10% of my income for the rest of my life. So let's take this skill and redistribute it as best we can, you know? So yeah, if anyone wants to come on and do a Trader Talk Tuesday with me, we do it on Tuesdays. And it's the best part of our community, I think, is hearing, and everyone's at a different place in their, you know, cliched journey, right? But I can assure you, I say this all the time, I've had trading education businesses for 20 years. This is different. People are really having success, okay? Not short-term success, but I'm talking about complementing and supplementing their income. Now, are you going to have times where it all goes to shit? Yes, it's still going to happen. I can't prevent that. I got freaking way off sides in Bitcoin futures over the last couple years a couple times. Learned my lesson again. I've only been doing this for 30 freaking years. But when it comes to active intraday day trading, you really should never fall off the wagon anymore. It's just dialed in. We can trade small accounts. We can use copiers. We can use a bunch of prop firms. You can just cash flow the heck out of this while you're learning. It's a really great opportunity. Okay. Any other questions for me tonight? I don't think we really, in terms of learning the strategies and everything, the best thing to do is to grab my free ebook, grab the Futures Fanatic course, and then maybe when you're ready, come in and try a free 2-week trial. You want to try a trial really soon because we're going to start to strip away. We're giving away too much stuff. And I want to respect the community that has paid to come in, because as we grow, we're going to have to keep it all. I want everybody to have a good time and enjoy what's going on in the chat. And as you get bigger, there's a lot of problems. I have tons of impersonators now. You know, flattery is the highest form, but some of these assholes, by the way, let me just use this stream as another opportunity to always say this. I am not going to tell you to follow my bots or deposit money in my crypto program or buy my coin or DM you or reach out to you in any way, shape, or form other than email after you might respond to one of my emails. But now here's what's happened. There's people that have set up phony websites that look like my website. They have email addresses that look somewhat like my email address. So just be very, very cautious. The only thing I offer is a trade room. That's the way you learn. You develop and build skills in that method, okay? And if you want to learn the strategy that you see in front of you, which is the same one that I'm doing right over here, this is called Stay in Your Lane, and over here is the Range Trader. It's the exact same thing. By the way, I think I'm going to get a fill on. Yes, so I'm back in gold, all right? Here's another thing that's cool. I think it's cool about this is that as this falls, you know, as this gets down to this level, this is going to be about $400, $500, $600 loss. I don't have to run a stop here. Why not? Because I want to build a position along this whole thing. This is the nature of supply and demand and trading around and true professional trading. Getting involved in something and then having tight little stops and scalping around, you know, now just a moment ago I made $140. So what? It was a quick scalp on the upside. But I wanted to scalp it on the upside because these moving averages started to turn down. But really what I want, and now I am rooting for this to go down. You might not believe me, but I really am. I'm rooting for this to go down because I'd rather have inventory for the move back up to here. I'd rather have more inventory. Okay? Now, this is not possible with the full gold contract. This is not possible if you're full porting NQ contracts, right? And if you're doing that in any account that has a small amount of money in it, including a prop account, you're building toxic types of behaviors and you're going to fuck yourself. It's not going to work. Okay? With $30,000 in this account, I don't know the exact margin changes they made, but I could probably buy 1 or 2 full GC contracts. But then this number, instead of being 120, would be 1,200. And then when it comes down to here, it'd be 5,000. Do I want to deal with that kind of headache? No. And I can't trade this the same way that I could trade these micros here. I could trade it the same way if the account had $150,000 in it. Then the percentages are lined up and I can trade the same way. By the way, I'm going to buy a little bit more Bitcoin just on this pullback. Nah, I'm going to wait for it to break out of this. See, it found some resistance up here at 78,220s, which is this visible range profile POC. So a little bit of overhead. Now we're coming back down. Just rest in order at 77,200s. The other thing about this, I don't want to speak for Razzie or anybody else, but this style, I'm telling you, you're going to be so much more relaxed. You will have the opportunity to say, so the first question that comes up all the time, I get it, is like if they see a thing like this, like, where's your stop, Rod? I don't have a fucking stop here. I want it to go down and fill me up. Can I get a 1 in the chat if that makes sense? It's really powerful. Now, do you need to manage risk? Of course, you got to manage risk. You can't lose a lot of money in any given day. Okay? And potentially, if I was already down $2,000 tonight and kept getting into some positions that went against me, I might just cut them quickly. That's the nature of situational fluency. You make certain decisions based on what's happening with your P&L and how much, whatever you want to call it. Are you in a flow state? What I don't like is this nonsense of seeing the market clearly. I know some people think that way. If you can see lines on a chart, this line right here and this line right here and this yellow line up here and this red line and this line, then as long as your glasses work okay, then you can see things. You don't this thing of seeing the market clearly, it's just nonsense. Because the words you use and the things you think about are really going to influence your ability to execute properly. Okay, I think I have spent enough time here this evening. Thank you very much. Here we go. Maybe we'll stick around enough to see if we can get a fill here. And I'm going to bring this last one down to basically what's been the lows have been there around 4,700. So a little bit of nice scare the children so you can watch an unprofitable started trading like this the past month or so. Very stressful free. Stressful free. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop there. We'll just do a little quick half hour. We'll see if we get a fill here, actually. Why don't we just sit in this trade and we'll see what... take a fill, Phil. Oh, we just missed it. I think we'll get it. The most important thing is how good I'm hitting the golf ball lately. That's what life's really about. Just a pure golf stroke. The love of a good woman, a pure golf stroke. A good gummy. That's what life's about, right? So question, do I have any videos on my channel that explain? Don't go to the channel. The best way to learn about everything I'm doing is to grab the ebook. The ebook is going to walk you through prop done right, prop programs do correct. So the full question was, do I have any videos on my channel that explain what the chart and the blue lines are and stuff like that? I have about 1,000 videos on it. And what those are is the recordings of the trade room, which is about 90 minutes to 2 hours every single Monday through Friday. If you go and check the description down below, you can jump on and even be in the trial starting tomorrow morning. And within 2 weeks, you can master all of it really is checkers. We're going to start with checkers, and then you'll figure out how to play the chess game. But I just teach checkers to start. So yes, you'll understand all the lines. For some of you, these lines might be a little busy, You could even, choose to remove some of the things on the chart. Did anyone get a fill right down here at 62s? I just missed 62s. Obviously, if I had pulled into price, this would have been a nice profitable trade. Yeah, having a third band and using that as your stop. There's a lot of ways. Ultimately, per trade management is way, way, way overrated. Way overrated. Because your job as a trader is to manage risk. How do you manage risk? Everyone talks about it. You do not exceed a reasonable amount of loss in any given session. Okay? That's it. The individual trade management becomes much easier. Now, we've talked about a variety of things you can do. You can say, I have $300 to risk in any given session. For my mental stability and health, I'm not going to allow any potential trade to be more than $150 per trade. If you do that, then all the other pieces fall into place a little bit, which is that $150 is different if you have 3 contracts on versus 1 contract on, right? See, because here's what people all get all bent out of shape. Do you do 2? Do you add here? Do you do this? Do you do that? You look at this number right here. This number right here is what drives your decisions. I will die on that hill that people that say don't trade your P&L and trust the process. I'm okay with trust the process, but the idea of not trading your P&L is insane. That's how you keep score. That's how you make decisions. I don't know if you play poker, but that'd be a lot like saying that you can play a poker hand properly, making decisions with incomplete information. The only time you have all the information in a poker hand is at the very end when you see the cards. You don't have all the information before the flop. You don't have all the information on the flop. You don't have all the information on the river until such time as the hand is over and you see the cards. That's it. So you have to make decisions, a series of decisions with incomplete information based on a number of factors that have to do with your stack size, your opponent's stack size, the pot size. Trading is very, very similar. But to say that any one given hand or how you navigate your decisions within any one given hand, if you did that every single time on every single hand, it would just drive you crazy, meaning that you just try to make the best series of decisions you can. But if you have $1,000 in front of you, most of the time you're not thinking about what should I do in this exact hand given the fact that I'm up or down a certain amount of money. You just make the best decision you can in that particular time frame. Okay. Guys, I don't really need any more examples. The examples are all over the place. If you end up seeing a really, really good like phony website or something using my brand and stuff, you can send that along, or a particular account that looks really good. But the emails and the solicitations and the DMs, no, I don't need to see them. They're just very prevalent and they're all over the place. I don't think you can trade micro silver at Apex. You can trade micro silver at a couple different firms, but I don't think you can trade it at Apex. Don't trade micro silver. Micro silver is a big contract. Okay, clear. I'm getting what I wished for. You can see how now we're starting to hug. We're starting to hug these moving averages, which are pointing down. So you want to take kind of quick profits on pops. That's what I would probably be doing. But I'm going to hold this hoping for a move down to 4,700. The thing that makes impersonation suck, especially in this line of work, if you will, or this type of content, is that I talk about these things, right? So if you want to know what I'm really doing in crypto, you become a lifetime member and you can look at what I posted in the crypto channel. But I'll give you a little hint. I'm using this as an opportunity to buy a bunch of stuff. Mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Order
CRO,
filled.
HBAR, a few other things. Solana. Now we're going. Now we're cooking. We could end the stream right here now, and you'd have to tune in later, watch your charts to see how this turns out. Being long. Ooh, that's a gap. That's a gap. Now they're scaring the kids. Does 4,700 hold again? NASDAQ's coming off a little bit. Bitcoin's coming off. So I missed why you down that much. I don't know what that means. I have a 34 period and a 55 period, and then I have the visible range profile here, and I have the use your words, Rod. I have the volume profile. Excuse me, I have the VWAP bands. If we get a push through 4,700s this time, it could be another nice little flush. So take some heat here.
Order
I can get
filled.
flushed. There we go. See 4690s. It didn't stop for even a heartbeat. Now look, you do not have to do it this way, meaning you don't have to see a number like this on your screen. You could run plenty of stops there, not trade a 3-lot. Silver's absolutely starting to fall apart now too. Well, not really. It's holding 80 for a second here. $29.5 is about where I started the night. That is quite a push. Got to do that with micros. The net liquidity will not update in real time, unfortunately. Yeah, there's just a wackadoo amount of activity over here on the Brickwick charts.
Order filled. Order filled.
It's a bummer is that this thing, TradingView, it lags a little bit. So I gotta watch over here on Ninja. It's pretty surprising they can't manage to take silver underneath. Okay, there's a long on Bitcoin at VWAP. So long Bitcoin at VWAP here. Same thing, I'm rooting for a move lower. I'll put some orders up here. Bitcoin a little bit less whippy right now than than gold, but definitely a quick, fall of $1,000, which is what you're going to see correlated moves and everything as you see the NASDAQ go down here as well. So NASI might look to pick up the -2s here on the NASDAQ if it really falls apart. But all eyes are going to be on this gold trade right now. Good for my girlfriend. She needs to be able to buy gold at reasonable prices.
Order filled.
So there's about a $50 move off the bottom. You'll see, or I've noticed with this type of volatility, that it usually comes in about $50 to $100 clips. So I'm not really sure how some of folks are playing around this, but we're outside the bands here on we're outside the bands pretty significantly. Maybe get involved in my PAs around 4,600.
Order submitted.
All right, I got to take one right here. Don't love it, but got to do it. And now look for a retest or undercut low back at 4,600.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled.
I'm trading off on another screen on a live Ninja account with a decent amount of size, so I'm a little distracted. I just got long again at 46.78. So, sorry.
Order
a little
filled.
distracted here.
Order filled.
I'll take you up here for just a moment. The prop programs. I'm all over the shop here, but we just got
Order
positive
filled.
here. But I didn't do any
Order
ads.
filled.
This is just a 2-lot that just broke even. You would have had trouble holding through that decline in In most prop programs with a reasonable DRB, we just had to take your stop there, but
Order filled.
yeah, I want to be done. If I was just done at 5, you wouldn't have had to watch that that crash together. What do we say? What are those green triangles on the chart? Yeah, these are some special secret sauce that I can't talk about now, but you can see how they do a pretty good job of identifying on each bar what you might want to do or not do. This is pajama traders trading time, but this one's a little different. The pajamas tonight are a little different.
Order filled.
There are many things that suck about being a trader on the West Coast. The one, if you're in New York, you got to go back maybe 5:30. Maybe you had a nice day out doing whatever you're doing. I know it's freezing in a lot of parts of the country, but I had to cut my day short to come back and record a video and deal with this nonsense.
Order submitted.
See if I can just
Order submitted.
hammer these here. This one's up so nicely because I got a really good fill here, but
Order submitted.
so now we'll just rest -2s. Yeah, I did really well on some take profits. Now, another thing that I talk about sometimes, and gang, this is I would say a little bit more advanced. At some point, if you are able to have a slightly larger account, real live account that you might consider sort of swing trading, and I would mean something where you could have about a $3,000 to $5,000 DRB. By the way, my DRB on this $30,000 account is $5,000, way bigger than you. And just a moment ago, the thing was down 2,000 or 3,000 in open, but I had already been up. So basically, I'm still up on this session, although I'm massively up stuck. So we'll see where we end up here, but. If you're able to have a live account, you can get into situations in which you could have a core position that you could decide to hedge or get into something different. In other words, on this fall, if you had a signal and a reason to do so, you could short in your PAs. Don't do this across prop accounts or whatever. I think that's more complicated. But between your live account, you could short here, write it down, and try to time the exit perfectly so that you didn't lose any money on the way down and you just have your long on here. Now again, that's a little wackadoo. I'm not suggesting that that too many people could do something like that. Let me get a little bigger here. These are just evaluations that I'm looking to pass. These are all passed already. Let me just get in a little bit more here.
Order filled.
And then we'll rest an order down at the -2s. The -2s are about $40 above the low that we just made down there.
Order submitted.
So the final thing on this trade, regardless of how it turns out, and this is really, really important, the style that I look to teach is one in which we earn the right to find those reversals. And how do we do that? We do it by a combination of factors, but really staying within our DRB. Now again, I don't want to emphasize this trade too much, but had I not been up $2,000 or $3,000, no fucking way can I let this thing come down like that. That's just completely irresponsible. I have to get stopped out of at least one. Maybe I could have got back in here. Okay. But now regardless of what turns out here, I might even add another one here at 46.41 and then have a 4 lot on if we come back. I think it's unlikely that we make another undercut low tonight, but I'm wrong all the time. So the idea behind mean reversion trading is we are looking to earn the right to find those bottoms or those tops, those cycles that we're, and eventually on that fall, especially on these, these are just 1 minute candles. On these particular 2 minutes here, you can see that's just flush written all over it, right? So as we get back into that bid zone, I'll look to get long again.
Order filled.
All right, I don't know if I do want to go now. I don't know if there's any other questions. We'll see what the outcome of this is. I would prefer that it not revisit back down, but it looks like it's going to. So the key will be just to see if it makes a higher low or an undercut low. An undercut low would be very interesting because an undercut low of this 4,600, which is basically $100 lower than Friday's low, would really get the juices flowing on the machines. So keep that in mind. All right. You should trade live more often. I trade live every single morning, Monday through Friday, 6:15 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find out how you could get involved on a 2-week free trial and check it out. I have these accounts up plus about 20 to 30 funded accounts from various prop firms. And there's nothing that I do in terms of sizing, risk management, or anything else that you can't do eventually. My particular DRBs for my $150,000 accounts at most of the prop firms are about $800 to $1,000. When you're starting out, you're probably going to have a $50,000 account with $2,500 in it. You have to use a $250 daily risk budget. So you have to make some different decisions. The first decision I'll tell you to do is fuck all if you're going to be trading gold right now or mini silver or anything or micro silver. You're going to be trading the Dow Jones. What's going on with the Dow Jones tonight? It is down 68 bucks. right. 68 points. Right? So you're going to be trading the Dow Jones right over here. Right from VWAP. Let's just do it right now. I'm going to buy the Dow Jones right here. I'm going to buy more of it right here. I'm going to buy more of it down here. I'm going to buy more of it down here. I'm going to take profits on it up here. I basically just showed you my entire strategy. And when you're first learning, you actually would not fiddle in the middle here, okay? So buying this pullback to VWAP is something that initially you wouldn't be doing. But eventually when you learn it all, you're like, hey, okay. Had a nice trend up here to start. Sold back down to VWAP plus the visible range, 48,944. That's a long. It's a long all day long. Now we got to get above these moving averages and push through them. But we should be able to do that. All right, I'm just going to get out of this because let's sell 2 of these.
Order filled. Order submitted.
Sell this one here. I'm just going to close it.
Order filled.
Nice trade. And again,
order submitted.
There's a lot of times where people say, do you use Footprint or do you use Order Flow or do you use Jigsaw or do you use all these other things? If they help you, that's great. If you can process all that information in real time, fantastic. If not, I can tell you just put orders on these lines. You can make it more complicated if you want, but just put orders on these lines. And I'll show you a per trade risk management that you could do. Again, a move below 4,600 again would be pretty brutal. But if you got long at 46.35, here's a dynamic trade management thing that you can do. The target is 67. Okay, we get long at this line. Our first target is here. Our next target is here. Not a lot of people teach this. They teach various VWAP things, but they don't teach you how to just make everything dynamic. Your entry is dynamic because these lines are moving around because they're based on some math from standard deviation. By the way, the lines are going to differ depending on the time frame that you're trading on. So if you want a time frame that's similar to what I have here on Ninja, you're going to use like a probably a 3-minute bar over on TradingView. I happen to be trading on a 1-minute over there, which I rarely do, but markets are just whipping around so much tonight. So anyway, let me ask this last question and we'll leave it here. I get long gold at 46.35. My target is 47.03. That's 67 points. If I want a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, where do I put my stop on this entry from 46.35? Remember, I want how many points below entry do I put it if it's a 67 point target? If I want a 2-to-1 reward to risk. Remember, nobody teaches this. I swear to you, nobody teaches it. Their stops and stuff on 2-to-1, 3-to-1 reward risk, whatever, it's just bullshit levels based on structure. They look left and they go, this swing high or that swing high. It's not dynamic. This is dynamic right in front of you. Let me see if someone gives an answer. I know there's a 20-second delay. Yeah, 33 points below. There you go. Now, Sarb gave the actual level 46.05. Now, what's the problem? You're gonna end up getting stopped out right at a place in which I might consider buying another one. Right? By the way, I just hit target on the on Bitcoin. Boom! Who's the best ever? And actually, we'll take another one right here at. We'll take another one right there at 78,225. Did anyone trade Bitcoin there with me? I don't know if anyone's following along with all this, but there we're on Bitcoin. So it looks like I'm going to end the stream here. If you're looking at this, I'll be, anything could happen. Gold could collapse again right now, but I'm going to end the stream up stuck $1,000 or down stuck 1,500 from my high. My high was up about 2,300. And I blame it all on gold. My best trade, though, was exiting gold right here. That's my best trade. We call that a graceful exit. When you take all that heat, you gotta get out when you get a retracement in your favor. Okay, if you just hold and pray and wait for it to go all the way back up, you're stuck because now you can't add on a move back down to here. All right, everybody, good session tonight. Yeah, and I do this live every Monday through Friday. The only issue is that you're not going to see this much action and stuff because I want my community to just watch the boring Dow, which we are now long, baby, down $8. I think we can handle it. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody, stay green, trade like you mean it. Thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. It really does help if you can share this, hit the like button, all that good stuff. This is going to be a fun pajama trading night. I'm going to try to get away from the screens, get a little bite to eat, and then probably come back and mess around with this for a little bit. We just saw gold go back under 4,700 again. I think every time it goes below that Friday low, we're going to see a lot of fun stuff. Okay? All right, everybody, stay green, trade like I mean. Bye.